Okay, thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the November 6th regular meeting of the Rockwell Center Board of Education. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Emergency evacuation exits are either side in the back. Any correspondence that can be posted has been posted. First, we have our opportunity for our student board member. Callie could not join us in person this evening, but I believe she has sent a video message.
So sorry that I can't be with you in person today, but here's my report for the meeting. To start, I have some positives from students. I continue to use the Google form I had mentioned at the last meeting to get both positive and constructive feedback from the student body. This month, many of the students who filled out the form made a point to mention how helpful all of the student resources are. Extra help and homework helpers were brought up in almost every response. Many students saying that even if this is the first year that they've used homework helpers as a tool, it's already helped a ton in their classes. The main point that I wanted to bring up in this report was the idea of a new class. I've been trying to survey interest about what future classes could look like and what students would like to learn more about before college. In my meeting with Mr. Gavin, I brought up that many students have expressed an interest in going into a career in healthcare, specifically nursing. With this in mind, we began to discuss some potential ideas for a new class. Something like an Intro to Health Careers class would likely gain huge student interest, as it would allow students to gain a better understanding of this very vast and complicated field. I discussed with both Mr. Gavin and Dr. Walsh about partnering with one of the nearby colleges, so Malloy or Hofstra or Adelphi, to attach college credit to the course and also be able to use the college lab facilities for quarterly field trips. I know that this idea would be exciting for so many students, so I really hope that with the board's assistance it can come to fruition. Finally, I just wanted to bring up some fun upcoming events for the community. On November 12th, we'll have our open house here at the high school. Student representatives from all of our clubs will be there, and it's a great chance for the community to see all the interesting clubs that we have here at Southside. And on November 19th, our Fall Play Puffs will be opening. It'll run through the 22nd, and it's such an excellent display of our incredibly talented drama guild. Tickets are available now, so please everybody spread the word because it's a wonderful opportunity to come out and support the arts. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Callie. Next up, we have opportunity for students that are here with us tonight. Are there any students here that would like to address the board? Come on up.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to listen today. My name is Annalise Piccioni and I'm here representing the Southside Dance team. I just want to start off by saying how proud I am of everything our team has accomplished this year. We've worked so hard from early morning practices to late nights perfecting routines, and everything we do is out of love for our school, our programs, and our community. One of the biggest things we look forward to every year is our spring fundraiser clinic. It's truly the highlight of our season. Not just because it's our only major fundraiser, but it's something that brings everyone together. We get to open our doors to younger dancers, students, and families from all around the community. It's such an amazing feeling to share what we love with others. Last year's clinic was such a success. We had such an incredible turnout, and it reminded us of why we do what we do. Because dance brings people together, it inspires, it connects, and it gives younger dancers something to look forward to. This year, after carefully going through every possible date on our school calendar, we found that the only date that works for our team, our coaches, and the auditorium is Sunday, April 19th. We've explored every option, and this is truly the only day that allows us to make this clinic happen. We completely understand that school doesn't usually have events on Sundays, but we also know that other athletic teams are sometimes able to use the school facilities that day. So we're hoping that you have the same opportunity for us. We would be so grateful for your support in letting us host this one special event. This clinic means so much to us. It's not just dancers, but it's representing our school. It's a chance to give back, to fund our program, and to continue growing something that brings so much positivity to our community. We're more than willing to meet any guidelines or requirements needed to make this possible. And we'd love to invite all of you to come and see what this clinic is about. It's one of the most joyful and inspiring days of our whole year. Thank you so much for considering this request and for always supporting student programs like ours. We truly hope you'll allow us to hold our clinic on Sunday, April 19th. Because for us, it's so much more than just a fundraiser. It's a day that celebrates teamwork, dedication, and the love we have for dance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, we are here because we think we should get the school space on Sunday, April 19th to host another dance clinic. Last year's clinic was such a huge success and we had an amazing turnout, and so many people came to try it. It gave the upcoming freshmen a chance to get a sneak peek of what being on the dance team is really like, and it helped them meet new people they'd be going to school with next year. It also gave them a chance to get comfortable with the school and see what our team is all about. Hosting another clinic would keep the same excitement going, and it's such a great way to bring people together, grow the team, and show off how fun and welcoming our program is. As someone who participated in the clinic, I can tell you that I had so much fun and made so many new friendships with the upperclassmen, and it made me even more excited to join the dance team. We have proven as a dance team throughout our performances and hours of practice that we are an important part of the Southside community. Thank you for listening, and by making an exception to open up the school on Sunday, April 19th, you're showing the school board support for our growing team.
Thank you, girls. Mr. Gavin, I'll ask you to follow up with Dr. Walsh on this.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And were any other students like to come up? Okay.
That's it, guys.
Thank you very much. We'll follow up with you, Dr. Walsh. We'll communicate to you soon, okay? All right, thanks so much.
You guys don't have to stay.
Yeah. Thank you all. Have a great night. Superintendent's report, Mr. Gavin.
Sure. Okay, so Callie from afar did steal some of my thunder. We have Puffs is coming. So the high school presents Puffs, or 7 increasingly eventful years at a certain school of magic, and a School of Magic by Matt Cox at the Southside High School is coming. Puffs is a fast-paced romp through 7 increasingly eventful years at that certain school, which cannot be named. During those 7 years, a certain boy wizard, who again may not be named, went to said school and conquered evil. However, this is not the entirety of that story. This clever and innovative play gives you a new look at a familiar adventure from the perspective of 3 potential heroes. Alongside of them are the Puffs, a group of well-meaning, loyal outsiders with a love of badgers. This epic journey can take... Yeah, I put this together, I did. This epic journey takes the classic story to new places and reimagines what a child wizard hero can be like. So it's important that if you want to come to Puffs, here are the dates and times. Wednesday, November 19th at 4:30. Thursday, November 20th at 4:30. Friday, November 21st at 7:30. Saturday, November 22nd at 7:30. Tickets are on sale now. $20 per adult, $10 per staff or student. For the Wednesday or Thursday shows, if you enter BOGO as a coupon code, you get a $5 child ticket for every adult purchase. Purchase of tickets is highly encouraged, and for all of our children out there that are fans of that certain wizarding school and adventures, come dressed up. I already know that Mr. Duffy will. It's his favorite costume to wear. He always dresses up as that certain wizard, so please come for that. Segueing, food drive. In November, we focus on gratitude, and our football team is focused on giving back. As such, the Touchdowns Club has been sponsoring a food drive at tomorrow's night's playoff game, where all attendees are encouraged to bring non-perishable food items for Thanksgiving to be donated to Sharon's Pantry at the MLK Center. If you're not able to go to the game, you can email mgvetter, F-V-E-T-T-E-R, @gmail.com with your address, and our players will come to your house and pick up the donation starting at 12 p.m. this Sunday. on November 9th. Just leave it at your front door. The players will come over, pick it up, and deliver it and do good for many, many people. In recognition of Veterans Day, our schools across the district are honoring the service and sacrifice of our nation's heroes through meaningful acts of gratitude and learning. Covert and Hewitt have partnered with Soldiers Angels to support the Treats for Troops initiative. Riverside will welcome local veteran Frank Colon from the RVC VFW and invite parents who have served to participate in a ceremony of appreciation. Watson's Flag Field of Honor continues its tradition of raising funds for veteran organizations, culminating in a special check presentation ceremony. At Wilson, students and staff will again host their very popular Veterans Day car parade celebration while raising funds to place American flags on the school's front lawn to tribute to all those who served. Southside Middle School will be holding its Bring a Veteran to School Day, offering students the opportunity to learn directly from veterans in their social studies classes. And at the high school, they are proudly continuing their Field of Flags fundraiser in support of disabled American veterans, with flags displayed proudly throughout November. We thank all of our veterans in our community and beyond for their courage, service, and enduring commitment to our country. And that is my report, Madam President.
Thank you. Turning to the district-wide safety plan, public hearing portion, the review of district-wide safety plan update. Mr. Gavin?
Yes, we do have David, who is here today to give us a little bit of an update on what has changed and what has prompted that change.
Hi, good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Director of Security for Rockville Center. There's been a new law that was introduced in July of this year. It's called Desch's Law. It's named after Desha Sanders, who tragically lost her life in gym class because the AED that was in the building was not accessible. So that prompted Governor Hochul to create a new law, making sure that every safety plan in the state has the provisions for making sure that the AEDs are accessible and that there are a number of trained people in them for them. So it has to be instituted by January 20th of this year. So we're putting it out, showing the law and putting it out there for public hearing. Any questions on it? Anybody? Okay. So just so you know, all nurses are trained in it, and they have volunteer people who also are instructed in the use of it. There are 27 AEDs for the district, 7 of which are at the high school, 5 at the middle school, and in the elementary schools are allotted a certain amount depending on the size of the school. And that's where we are. So any other questions? No?
Any questions from board members? No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
At this time, I'll ask opportunity for visitors. Anyone that would like to come up to ask anything about the district-wide safety plan specifically, only the safety plan. We need you to hold on one second, yeah, just in case. No? Okay, I think we're good. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we have items for information. Mr. Gavin, tonight we have our middle school team here with us to present.
We do. We have the entire middle school administrative team led by Ms. McGinn, who will be leading us through their data presentation to review last year's data performance at the middle school. Ms. McGinn and your team, welcome. Oh, there we go.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us this evening. I am Maria Lasorsa. I'm here with my colleagues Sheila McGinn and Antoinette Morgan to present the assessment data for Southside Middle School. Our ultimate goal is clear: to ensure every student is supported in discovering their unique strengths and interests. This means meeting their physical, intellectual, social, and emotional needs through purposeful learning experiences. To do this effectively, we must continually review our data to celebrate our strengths and pinpoint our areas for growth. For us, data analysis goes far beyond a single test score. We synthesize information from various sources, looking at the individual student, class, building, and district levels to build a comprehensive understanding of what each student needs. Tonight, we'll explain the sources of data we analyzed and demonstrate how that work leads directly to the learning goals and instructional decisions that guide our classrooms. You'll do it? Okay. The results we share directly inform how we shape innovative learning experiences across Southside Middle School that align with our district mission. This process involves looking at the data to determine if our current curriculum and teaching methods are effectively preparing students to strive for excellence in their academic pursuits. Just as importantly, our review helps us identify opportunities to explicitly reinforce the character traits that enable students to act with integrity and empathy, two skills that are essential for success beyond the classroom. Our review of assessment data includes a detailed analysis of student performance on the New York State assessments, which serve as a critical measure of student mastery of the next generation learning standards. These assessments, administered annually in English language arts and mathematics for students in grades 3 through 8, test critical skills like comprehension, evidence-based writing, and problem solving. By looking at proficiency rates in ELA and math, we can quickly identify where students are striving for excellence and pinpoint specific content areas or grade levels that require curricular adjustments to ensure all students are on track for long-term success. The state data is foundational, but it is always used alongside our local assessments to create a comprehensive understanding of student growth. When analyzing student performance data, we utilize a multifaceted approach that goes far beyond simple test scores, creating a detailed picture that informs instruction. Our process begins with teacher gap reports, which synthesize instructional feedback to identify recurring areas where student understanding is inconsistent across classrooms. When we use the wrong answer summary analysis and item analysis to pinpoint specific skills or standards that were most frequently missed, ensuring we address systemic challenges rather than individual student errors. Furthermore, snapshots of student work, particularly their performance on complex or non-traditional tasks, provide authentic evidence of their ability to apply critical thinking and problem-solving skills, allowing us to see how effectively they are learning. Finally, constructed response analysis is paramount, as it allows us to evaluate the quality of student reasoning and writing, ensuring our students can articulate their knowledge, giving us actionable insights for improving advanced thinking and communication skills. These slides provide a comparative look at learner participation on the New York State assessments for English language arts and math from 2021 to 2025. This data specifically reflects the percent of students tested in grades 6, 7, and 8. In ELA, participation rates show an upward trend following the 2021 assessment year. Grade 6 saw participation rise from a low of 39% in 2021 to 71% in 2025. Grade 7 also experienced substantial growth, increasing from 29% in 2021 to 65% in 2024, although it slightly dipped to 64% in 2025. Grade 8 increased its testing rate from 20% in 2021 to 57% in 2025. The math assessment data reflects a similar positive trend in student participation. Grade 6 math participation grew consistently from 39% in 2021 to reach 73% in 2025. Grade 7 math participation mirrors the ELA trend, rising from 32% in 2021 to 64% in 2025. Although the number of 8th grade students that participate in the New York State assessments are lower than 6th and 7th grade, we are consistent with other Long Island school districts. In addition, despite a long history of students opting out of state assessments, we continue to encourage full participation to ensure we gather a wider and more representative sample of data. The New York State Education Department defines student achievement on state assessments using 4 performance levels, 1 through 4. our district strives for all students to reach 3 and 4. A student scoring at level 3 is considered proficient, meaning they demonstrate a solid understanding of the content expected for their grade level. A level 4 score indicates the student is excelling and performing above grade level expectations. While level 3 and 4 are our main focus for mastery, it is important for families to recognize that students achieving level 2 are still on track to meet high school graduation requirements. This slide compares the ELA and math data for our middle school students to the region, focusing on those students who have achieved levels 3 and 4. In ELA grade 6 and ELA grade 8, our students are above the region, while ELA grade 7 remain consistent with the region. We continue to see a particularly strong outperformance in math, with grade 6 achieving 81% proficiency and grade 7 achieving 78% proficiency as we continue to excel in this subject area. Specifically focusing on students achieving level 4, we have 26% in grade 6, 27% in grade 7, and 34% in grade 8 for ELA. Math includes 13% for grade 6 and 37% for grade 7 achieving mastery level, which is level 4. We have noticed this positive change by analyzing the factors that contributed to this success, such as effective instructional practices and targeted interventions. We believe this is due in part to revising curriculum and using data analysis to drive instruction. This focused strategy allows us to ensure our instructional delivery is precise and supports our overall goal of excellence. This slide shows the ELA proficiency data from the New York State Assessments as compared to the region. Here we see a trend of strong performance for our students with all 3 grade levels either outscoring or equaling the regional average in 2025. The most significant positive change was seen in ELA grade 6, where proficiency rose from 54% in 2024 to 67% in 2025, outscoring the region's 62%. In ELA grade 7, Southside Middle School maintained a strong 61% proficiency, which was equal to last year's regional average. Furthermore, ELA grade 8 has also maintained its lead, increasing to 65% proficiency and remaining ahead of the region's 60% for last school year. In 2024, Southside Middle School was below the region, but making instructional changes, which will be discussed on later slides, affirms the effectiveness of our ELA instructional programs. To analyze long-term progress in ELA, we examine longitudinal trends. This slide follows the same cohort of students as they advance from elementary through middle school, showing how they shift across the 4 NYSED performance levels over time. This slide presents an inverted view of the data, meaning level 4, the highest performance category, is positioned at the bottom of the chart. The chart features 2 critical elements: the black dot, which serves as the direct benchmark representing the region's overall success rate, and a black line, which plots the total number of middle school students who have achieved levels 3 and 4. For our 7th and 8th grade students, you will also notice the data from 2021 is unavailable because the state reused the 2019 assessment due to the pandemic. This slide demonstrates the middle school's consistent outperformance in mathematics compared to the regional average. Specifically, in grade 6 math, our proficiency rates have remained strong, reaching 81% in 2025, which surpasses the region's rate of 69%. Similarly, grade 7 math demonstrates persistent success, with the middle school achieving a proficiency rate of 78% in 2025, ahead of the region's 71%. The data clearly demonstrates the effectiveness of our mathematics curriculum and instructional strategies. Here are the longitudinal trends for math. As we saw on the ELA slide, the chart is inverted with level 4 at the bottom, the black dot representing the benchmark for the region's overall success, and the black line plots the total number of middle school students who have achieved the level 3 or 4 according to the NYSED performance levels. Again, the information from 2021 is not available due to the pandemic. For our math trends, we see that our students' growth is relative to the region. Our effective mathematics curriculum and instruction are directly evidenced by positive student outcomes in the data. I would now like to introduce Antoinette Morgan, who will present our local assessment data for the NWEA.
Another assessment that we use to gather student data are the NWEA assessments, which are designed to target a student's academic performance in math and reading. These assessments are adaptive and tailored to an individual current achievement level. The NWEA affords each student a fair opportunity to show their ability and knowledge in each of the assessment areas. The test shows student strengths as well as areas of instructional focus. These assessments are administered 3 times a year in grade 6 and 2 times a year in grade 7 and 8. By assessing our 6th grade students 3 times a year, we collect more data that shows us how our students are doing with their transition to middle school. Historically, all students take the NWEA assessments. The NWEA assessment allows for our students to be more involved in the assessment process. For example, we use MAP Accelerator in 6th grade to see progress over time. MAP Accelerator can also help teachers differentiate instruction and provide tailored instruction and support for students, whether they are above, on, or below grade level. The NWEA provides individualized data on a wide range of skill levels. Here we take a look at the district RIT score versus the national norm in reading from fall 24 to spring 25. The RIT score is a snapshot of a student's achievement level in reading and math at the time they took the test. Because the RIT scale is stable and consistent across all grade levels, it's the primary tool for measuring how much a student has learned between testing periods, regardless of their grade. The NWEA reading scores for grades 6, 7, and 8 provide valuable insights into students' reading comprehension abilities. The data shows that our average RIT score is typically above the norm. This slide shows NWEA math scores from fall 24 to spring 25. We are historically above the national norm in math every year, and the trend continues to move in that direction. Not only are we above the norm in the fall, our students increased these test scores last spring. We need to remember that the higher the student achieve, the more difficult it is to show growth. Next, Ms. McGinn will share our Regents data as well as further detailed information on how we support our students and staff.
Are you clicking for me? Good. Last year's 8th grade students participated in the Earth Science and Algebra Regents exams in June of 2025. Click. Southside Middle School, with this slide, Southside Middle School significantly outperformed the region on the Algebra 1 Regents in both 2024 and 2025. In 2024, our 94% passing rate was 14 points higher than the region's 80%. By 2025, Southside Middle School's rate increased to 96%, while the region dropped to 78%. This widened our lead by 18 percentage points, showcasing exceptional performance in core mathematics. For the Earth Science region, Southside Middle School has also consistently led the region from 22 to 25. Our performance ranged from a low 83% in 2022 to a high of 91% in 2025. The widest gap occurred in 2025, where our 91% rate surpassed the region's 84%. RVC successfully maintained a passing rate advantage over the region in all 4 reported years. Teachers have been working on curriculum changes to implement now the New York State Science Learning Standards over the last 2 years. Although the new Earth Science Regents exam was available in June 2025, Southside Middle School opted to wait until June 26, utilizing the state-provided flexibility. Teachers are currently using the June and July 2025 exams and the upcoming January 2026 exam to further inform their instruction and prepare our students. This data solidifies that Southside Middle School is significantly exceeding the regional average in both core math and science regents exams. Algebra is based on 5 levels instead of 4. Earth Science is based on 4. Our mastery level is 45%. Nearly half of our students have performed at the mastery level. While this is an increase from the previous year, we still have work to continue. For Earth Science, 68% of our students performed at the mastery level, which has increased from 30% over the last 3 years. This slide represents the New York State region's passing and mastery rates for Algebra 1 and Earth Science from 22 to 25.
The data shows a consistently high passing performance for Algebra 1 Regents over the 4 years, with the passing rate remaining between 93% and 96%. The mastery rate for algebra saw an increase from 32% in 2022 to 45% in 2024 and 2025. For the earth science regents, both rates generally trended upward over the 4-year period. The passing rate improved from 83% in 2022 to a peak of 91% in 2025. The most significant growth was in the earth science mastery rate, which increased from 38% in 2022 to reach a high of 68% in 2025. Performance data from 2022 to 2025 shows strong Regents exam results. Algebra maintained a high passing rate, 93 to 96%, with the mastery rate improving from 32% to stabilize at 45%. The earth science Regents demonstrated significant growth, with the passing rate rising to 91% and the mastery rate surging from 38% to a peak of 68% in 2025. But we still have more to do. After reviewing the data, we've begun implementation of action steps to achieve our future goals. The primary objective of the action plan is to equip teachers with effective strategies to guide students in critical thinking, inquiry learning, and increase student skill development in alignment with the NYP framework and the New York State standards. At the building level, the focus is designed to integrate school-wide initiatives, including the NYP and its culminating NYP Community Project, which now / Seal of Civic Readiness, which is needed in high school. Literacy is a key component with an emphasis on foundational skills through the Writing Revolution and Keys to Literacy. Additional priorities include data analysis, fostering creativity in the classroom, and the integration of AI into instruction. These efforts serve as foundations for ongoing data analysis and informed decision-making across all content areas. The ELA instructional focus centers on curriculum review, data analysis, progressions, book clubs, and the analysis of constructed responses. Teachers are working to implement and model critical thinking skills. The curriculum emphasizes the use of authentic texts that connect to real-world issues. ELA teachers are integrating book clubs, the Writing Revolution, and continue to work with an ELA consultant. A major component is providing targeted practice with constructed response questions, focusing on understanding the prompt, developing a clear thesis statement, and teaching effective planning and organization. The math focus is on data analysis, analysis of constructed response, and revising the Math 8 curriculum. Analysis of constructed responses has revealed specific areas for student improvement, including geometry, number sense, and expressions and equations. The goal is to have continued data analysis and within the NYP framework to effectively guide students to making meaningful connections within mathematics. Last year's Math 8 was not offered, so we've been revising and editing the curriculum that was written 2 years ago for the class that we are having now in Math 8 as well. The science instructional focus areas are the curriculum review, district-wide, the new earth science curriculum, and Regents. Data analysis, BOCES training, collegial circles, and professional communities. Specifically, earth science teachers are shifting curriculum toward the New York State Science Learning Standards, which emphasize the three-dimensional instructional framework for science. To support this shift, curriculum labs and assessments are being redesigned. Resources are being utilized, including Inner Orbit, New Visions, and professional learning. As with other teachers, they are continuing to increase opportunities for students to practice with assessments on online platforms. And finally, in enhancing our students' opportunities and outcomes, at Southside Middle School, we both challenge and nurture our students and our staff. Through explicit planning and professional learning, our teachers analyze data to drive instruction. As a building, we work collegially to analyze this data through professional learning opportunities, planning periods, formative and summative assessments, and progress monitoring. Our team teaching and co-teaching approach have helped us to redeploy staff so more students are accessing the curriculum in the general ed setting. Therefore, the number of students in support classes has declined, which allows our students to have more choice with their schedule and to take more electives. Our students continue to receive support through extra help, which takes place each day, each morning, our TLC program, and our after-school student center. Teachers plan together to differentiate instruction to meet the needs of the students. We continue to engage parents in working closely with our staff. Through our PPS meetings with our counselors, social workers, and psychologists, cluster meetings, parent-teacher conference nights, we communicate through email, Parent Square, and the telephone. We look to continue to move forward and make great strides as we grow and help our students meet with success in their middle school journey. Thank you. Now, with their questions. Maybe I'll have to listen to the questions. I'm just going to stand here because I know you're going to ask.
First, we want to thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for being here. We always love having the middle school team. Any comments or questions from the board?
I'll start also with a thank you very much for sharing a very positive story here, and it's great to see the increasing passing rates, the numbers all trending in the upward direction. Looking at the participation rate of the state tests, seems that the younger grades, maybe the 6th graders, are coming in higher numbers than we're seeing the 7th and 8th graders. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective, Mrs. LaSorsa mentioned that the tests are a good data point. I'm wondering if we are getting enough data back from the state to, and in time to make any curricular revisions, or
Yes.
is there any hesitation around?
Well, there's
those
been a
state test
positive
data?
trend in that they let us keep the booklets. So we didn't have to send everything back and only rely on the questions that the state released.
Right.
So we've been able to, when we do, just to give you a brief understanding, when we do the data analysis, it's the teachers sitting with the different reports that Ms. LaSorsa talked about, and they're going through them on their personal level as they are the teacher of those students, and they're also going through it, looking at it through the region and the district level. And they're talking about the questions on the test. So we sit also with, and we are with them, and we let the experts talk because they really know. And they are looking, and then they're going back to the questions. And sometimes they'll go back to a question, and now we can go back to so many more questions. We've always been able to do this with earth science and algebra, but this is the first year that we've had all the questions, almost, for this. So we're able to go back and really see, maybe it was a bad question, or maybe sometimes it's like, I never taught fairy tales. You know, like, so they are giving us more to work with,
Good.
which is helpful, very
Yes,
helpful.
And that's important, right? So it gives you, it's not guesswork anymore as to
Right.
any part of it. In terms of the interventions that you mentioned there, and that also Ms. LaSorsa mentioned, the targeted interventions, revising curriculum, given the improving numbers that we're seeing, would you point to anything in particular that's been a particularly helpful targeted intervention or revision that we're seeing these increases?
I think in ELA, we had 2 of the 3 grades were utilizing the book clubs more last year, and this year, all 3 grades are. I think it's working with the progressions with Kate Roberts as well. It's targeting. We're working now also with the Hockman method. That's this year, but some of the teachers did the Hockman training last year, the Writing Revolution, and they brought it back to their peers. I think that one of the things that is very important, again, is the fact that the teachers all work together all the time. So when you have, and they also have, with the ICT, this is the 2nd year that, time just flies. This is the 2nd year, I believe, that every special ed teacher is one. In 6th grade, there are 2 subjects, but there's 1 math, 1 ELA. And I think having that one special ed teacher being part of that ELA team, bringing their perspective and their strategies as well for the differentiation has also been a huge component.
Excellent. I certainly appreciate that, and I think that sort of from the ground up work with the teachers who are in the classrooms driving that instructional change has to result in a lot of what we're seeing. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the presentation. Some really wonderful things to celebrate. So congrats to you 3, but to your whole team.
The teachers are the experts.
Yeah, first of all, I think the way the middle school, it's a hard age. I'm sure I don't have to tell you.
Really?
And the way
best
that,
years of their lives.
To embed the character development and the learner profile with curriculum, with all of the drama and stress and changes of middle school kids is not easy. So you should be commended. I think just the improvement in results, I mean, the earth science mastery, kudos to them. That's a huge jump. And I think you, as a school, do a great job at maintaining consistency throughout your departments and throughout your grade levels, which I think is really helpful for parents of kids, you know, particularly 6th, 7th graders that are not quite used to the transition from middle school, knowing that what's happening in any given classroom in social studies at that grade level is the same or very close to the same, I think is really important. So fantastic comments on that. And just a couple of questions. So I'm curious about, this isn't really for you. I don't even know if we have this data, but now we're like multiple years into the algebra team teaching model in 8th grade. And those students who experience, the first like cohort of students who experience that are probably in, right? They went through Algebra 2 last year. Right, so I'm just curious more so for the high school presentation, if we're seeing any benefit like now rolling through the high school from the investment that happened in that program in 8th grade. I don't know if that's quantifiable or not, but I'd be interested if we can have any feedback.
If I could just add one thing to that, one other thing that comes over overwhelmingly from the students at the end of each year when the algebra teachers give them a survey about how they, you know, reflecting on the year, it almost overwhelmingly students say, I'm not afraid to ask questions now. I'm not afraid because students will say, when I raise my hand in a different class, instruction stops. But now I know there's another teacher, and this is the same comment we also get in the ICT co-taught classes. There's another teacher to help me, so it's helped students now know that, well, I can ask a question, but they're learning how to ask questions better so that I'm hoping as they get older, they're not afraid to stop the class to ask the question. But that comes from the students and the survey that the teachers give.
And I think that's a really important piece of feedback that isn't really captured necessarily in
A
test
score
data,
may not,
right?
a score
But
may not capture it.
for the student experience, that's,
Yeah. And I mean, even to the point where the algebra teachers call themselves the AlgCals.
right.
And to the point that, you know, of the sections, it's like they're all ICT sections, and some of the gen ed students then bring being able to talk to both teachers into their other classes as well.
That's great.
So I think it helps the students have a little bit of voice.
Thanks. One other, just more like data-specific question. So it looks like in 7th grade, like last year and this year, that the state test numbers, sorry, I'm just
They were
going
stable.
back to my, in ELA.
Yeah, they stay the same.
And last year, that was also a tough, right? If you look in the 2024 ELA, that was one of the areas where we were not outperforming the region. I'm just wondering if there's something about 7th grade in particular that is harder or changes from, like, does the test change from 6th to 7th grade? It just seems like that might be one area where we're,
Well, that's one area where we're looking very closely
okay.
and seeing what we're teaching and how we're teaching. It's one area where we're adding more novels, where we didn't have. There was more of a short story and play, like emphasis, but now we're adding in the book clubs and novels and the questions and analysis that goes with that.
Okay.
So we are targeting that because we see it too.
Great. And then my only other just comment is, I said this to the elementary team, so I'll reiterate it to you. Having a sixth grader back in the middle school after having my older kids out, and now speaking to parents who are sort of first time in the middle school. There's a little bit of, you know, a learning curve there.
Yeah.
So, which is inevitable, I understand that, but I think sort of helping bridge that gap a little bit more, even the connection from student to home. Parents don't, sometimes I feel like it's a harder transition for the parent to understand what's
I
like
agree.
changing. So just if we could maybe try to smooth that a little bit by sort of helping the fifth grade teachers get parents sort of ready for what they're gonna experience in some way, I think that would be helpful to especially first-time families.
And for us, if parents would call us and talk to us about what they may be feeling or experiencing, as opposed to using social media, then we only can fix what we don't know, and we
Right.
want to help everyone. I mean, we do, our sign in the front says a tradition of caring, and we really mean that. And we want to make sure that everyone feels good and comfortable, but cluster meetings happen with parents and without parents. We're always talking about kids and helping kids. But parents, you know, if any questions, anything, and we can look at how we are making that, and we've never, to be honest, and I've been doing this a long time, I've never really thought about, oh, how will the parent feel coming in? We do parent orientation, but things are changing.
Yes.
So we can definitely look at that and
Thank
see if we can provide more opportunities or things,
Or
yeah.
just like, here's step one if you have a problem. Here's step two. Here's where you go for this. Like,
But we hand at 6, okay, we will. We'll look at it,
thank you. Appreciate the presentation. Thank you so much.
sure.
Thank you for coming. I miss you guys. So it's nice to have you here. I know how much you love this part, but you did a great job. And I
Oh,
love
thank you.
the story. The middle school is a really pivotal part of our students' journey. It's a great place, full of great people. So I congratulate the science teachers. That's an amazing feat. Earth Science is their first foray into a harder science assessment. Those scores are really great. And I've always said it publicly, but our math teachers at the middle school are among some of the best in the district. They are really great. So the students being afforded the opportunity to have a 2-for-1 in a class is a gift. They really are a great, great team of teachers. So congratulations to all of the teachers involved in these scores, and I thank them. I was wondering how these scores translate to the students utilizing the Regents Review classes. And in that, are they full? Are they sparse? Are students starting it and not finishing it? Is math more full than science? Any information you can give us. I'd love to know how that plays into what we're seeing in terms of assessment scores and how much they're availing themselves to what we offer.
I don't know the exact attendance for those courses, but I do know that they start out super full and then they start to wane down. And then right before the exam, they build back up. So I think that I think they're helpful without a doubt. I think it takes off a lot of stress for some parents of like kids saying, I need a tutor right now when they don't. You know, they really don't. But I don't know. I'd have to look at the numbers. Also, just to add that in our TLC, the Learning Center, the After School Homework Helpers, in 6th and 7th grade, there's it's teacher assistants and a teacher every day. And in 8th grade, it's an earth science teacher and an algebra teacher specifically that are in that as well. So we also encourage, like, for example, it's basketball season. There are a few basketball players that are going to TLC now and then going to basketball practice. But we do that all year long to pinpoint. But I'd have to look at the attendance. I really don't know the full answer to that.
Yeah, you know, it's just something since we offer it, and we've all had conversations at this table about, you know, how many sections we offer, do we have enough of it, or, you know,
They're
we
large
try to offer it for
classes.
free so every student can, you know, have equity to accessing it. So I'm just curious if it's helpful, if what we're doing is still, you know, matching and helping these grades continue to rise. So that would be something I would say is a question you can bring back next time you come, because we love having you. My second question is outside of the presentation, and it's about another thing that we do and care about is about additions of different courses and things that we do to enhance the curriculum, even outside of maybe the 4 core subjects. So if you have anything to share about some of the new things offered this last year, any observations or enrollments, anything you can share just from what we have added new to the middle school.
We've shifted things a little bit. Last year, we moved in our exploratory wheel in 7th grade. We moved the career and financial part of it to 7th grade in the hope that it feeds better into 8th grade. The food science and fashion design courses are through the roof. The kids absolutely love them. The technology classes as well, there's Technology 8. The students are, and there's robotics. And it's very interesting because this year, in the middle school, like we had to have pizza lunches Giovanna Okalika, one of the social workers, brought from the high school a couple of 12th grade girls to talk about their experiences in technology because there was a total gender split, because we're middle school age, of who's in technology and robotics, male. Who's in food science and fashion, female. So that's something that we really looked at and then trying to move to make sure that it is all gender equitable, but they're middle school, right? So everybody has the same white sneakers this year with the same Nike logo on them. So that's something that we look at. A course that didn't run this year was computer-aided design, computer science, and that was kids didn't have an interest in it. A course that we would love more kids to have an interest in is the inquiry class, which is based on the theory of knowledge class here. So there's lots of, are you thinking of any others? You're just taking notes. Of the different classes that we have. We're also looking, the 8th grade will be coming here, and that's not them, but we're looking to give more opportunities for the 7th graders to see what these electives look like. The exploratory wheels, those are supposed to be exactly what they say. A little family and consumer sciences, a little bit of music studio, a little bit of art, a little bit of financial literacy, technology, robotics, I'm sure computer science, I'm missing something, but to then lead them in. But sometimes they forget what they did in 6th grade and what they want to do in 8th grade. So we're going to work on that in making the electives, the choices for the students, and making sure the parents really know what they are.
Right. And it kind of makes me think about how we started the meeting with the students, with Callie talking about the healthcare exposure. It's like, using the middle school as the pipeline for being up, kind of exposed to all of these amazing things and deciding who you are, where you lie in your interests, and then being able to maybe get deeper into them as you get a little bit older.
Yep.
And this then it helps the continuum into a lot of these schools. When you're applying to college, you're applying to a particular school,
Right.
into a particular major, and we think, oh my gosh, how are they supposed to know this? So knowing that that's expected of them and trying to push that down a little younger where they can at least try some things.
And try
Matt
to-
and I talked about this last year when we visited Hofstra. We visited the nursing program, and we said, wouldn't it be cool to have an elective where, there's a unit on each, aspect of healthcare. There's physical therapy, there's speech, there's this, there's just anything within that realm, because it's so large, nursing being obviously big component of it. But I wonder if that's a good home for it, getting something in the middle school that then can grow to the high school.
And what we need to do is to make sure that when we're looking at the students and as they're picking it, that it doesn't become this split.
Right.
That it's not, oh, my friend's taking this, so I am. The most amazing musician may opt for studio and art because my best friend is going to studio and art, but they're 12.
Right. I think it's a good conversation. I know it's something in another 4 to 5 months we're going to be talking about more. So
Yep.
Anyway, thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the data. It's so nice to see you guys, and we'll see you again.
Okay.
Thank you. This was a great presentation. As everyone said, just really happy to see growth across the board. I think that's really all, at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. It's always trying to be better. And I also appreciate the thought that went into the improvement plan. Again, just that idea of continuous improvement. While we did do better, there's still always room for growth, so I appreciate that. A couple, I guess, of just questions or comments, concerns. I do have a little bit of a concern about the number of our students who are proficient ELA, you know, based on the New York State assessment. And I get that not all of our students are taking that test. We do have, you know, not a significant opt-out rate, but you know, in the 6th grade, we only have 71% of the kids taking it. I think my concern really draws from, in looking at our data from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, at that level, we have significantly higher proficiency rates. So like our 5th grade last year had an 82% proficiency rate, and only 81% of the kids took the test. So more than 71%, but still not like it's 99%. And then we kind of see that drop when we get to the middle school. And I guess my questions really kind of relate to, and I don't know that there's an answer to it, but why we're seeing such a significant drop there. I know at the elementary data meeting, we also looked at the NWEA results, which I know we've been using for a long time, originally put in place to meet APPR standards. But as we think about literacy across the country is dropping. So if we're comparing ourselves to dropping rates, it's not really telling us if our kids are proficient. It's just telling us that we are more proficient than the rest of the nation is. And this came up at that meeting where just thinking about progress monitoring, and are there other systems that might be more beneficial, like iReady being one of them. And I'm not saying that has to be the one, but just thinking about other methods that we can use to get more individualized data on students that we can then use to better inform instruction. You know, at elementary school, you've got 25 kids in a room, 23 kids in a room. I think it's a lot easier to have a handle on what your students' needs are, like where we are successful, where there's areas for growth. Whereas a 6th grade teacher, a 7th grade teacher might have a caseload of 100 students. They're not going to get to know those students as well, or it might take longer to figure out what is the action plan for these students. But there is that drastic difference in the ELA data. It's almost a 20-point differential where that proficiency lies. So that's just something I'm thinking about, is what can we do within that to help elevate our students', you know, performance.
So just to answer slightly, is we're looking at that as well. And as far as the NWEA versus something else, that's part of the strategic plan and where we're going with that. And also there's a difference in the test taking of the students. And we also, which the data doesn't show, is that we also have sometimes kids take the test, a fair amount of students who take the test on Monday and don't take it on Tuesday. And we also have students who we do it in a block of time, and then we may have to move them to another, like there's different logistics, but we're looking into all of it to make it as cohesive as we can. One thing we added last year, which definitely helped, was the teachers were explicit, all ELA teachers were, and other classes as well, but using the point system of the state assessment, giving students assessments on Google Forms, because the first year, they thought the box didn't expand. So their constructed responses stayed this big. But then teaching them explicitly that, not saying, oh, this is for the New York State assessment, but saying that, teaching them how to take a test that looks like that, which we hadn't done in the computer-based testing in the past.
Yeah.
So we are definitely looking
No, I appreciate
to do
that.
better.
I appreciate that. And the second question I have relates to science. I mean, kudos on the mastery rates, and I've said this many times, like, that's where our mastery rate should be. That is the kind of, these are the students that we have. So I'm really happy to see that, because I think it is a reflection of our school community. So that was great. I guess the question I have is, so last year we took the old Earth Science Regents. This year we're taking the new Earth Science Regents. Can you just explain, I mean, just for the community, what is the difference between these exams?
You can do that one, even though I do know. No, go ahead, man. This is your job.
So the difference between the two exams is the skills-based component. So with the new NISLA standards, you have a three-dimensional approach. And they're really more focused on novel experiences for the students and applying science skills and being scientists. It's a completely different approach to the assessment, and that's why we have such a major shift, and we've been putting so much effort and learning into working with our teachers to help our students with curriculum. When we look at, and this was discussed before, why we chose to have that flexibility and not do the assessments last year to kind of see what these tests looks like, so we can prepare our classes and our curriculum for our students to be as successful as possible. But the main difference is rote memorization was what the old Regents exams really were, where they can use their reference sheet and answer half of the test just by pulling the information off of that. Whereas now they're going to be experiencing a completely different situation they've never seen before, but they're going to use the skills that they've learned to apply to those situations.
But before he says they've never seen before, this dovetails completely with the MYP framework. It's inquiry-based learning. So the new earth science and space, they do, instead of having labs, they're doing phenomenons. They're having to answer, conceptualize, think of, and answer a question. I just watched a lesson on that had to do with the planets and phases and such, and I've watched that same lesson done the old way, and it was, what are the phases of the moon? A, B, C, D. And now it was much broader, but it does completely dovetail with the MYP framework, just saying. So they've seen it before.
Thank you.
Type of questioning.
I guess my follow-up question is, how prepared are we for
With
this?
The teachers the teachers have done some great training with Guy and with some others. The teachers, they are feeling good. Like, they've come down to me, I don't know, they've come down to you, they've said they were worried like that these labs, some of these labs they have to do are so extensive, and then they're finding out, right, that they're not. They haven't started the big one yet, though, it's coming up. But they're finding that they're also getting a little bit of a different invigoration in their teaching step, as it were, because it's a different, for them, a different way of teaching. We're going to be prepared. One of the teachers was saying the other day, he's on a Facebook page, social media, God love him, on a Facebook page with other teachers with earth science. They've been studying those other two exams that we're giving. They're comparing the questions that have been given to the questions that they're now giving to the students. So they feel good. There is no more, right, no lab practical, right? There's no lab practical part now on this test, whereas in the past, they had to stop, do the lab practical, which took up a day of teaching. Now they're excited they have an extra day of teaching because they don't have to do the lab as well. So there's lots of, they feel good. Like if they need time, they're getting it. If they need resources, they're getting it. Whatever they need, and they know it. Maria works closely with them, with that department, and they're feeling in a good place.
Okay. I guess my ask would just be, as we go through this year, you know, in areas where we're seeing struggle, and certainly to the high school as well, when we have that we are scaffolding back. So when looking at the skills students need to be successful in 8th grade, how does that change our 6th and 7th grade approach? Like, what are things that we need to be doing there that maybe we didn't do because we didn't know, et cetera? And the same, but also how it relates to math. So for example, like in living environment, there's a lot of math in there, and some students struggle with that math. So then what do we need to be doing at the middle level to ensure that they're ready at the high school? So that's just my ask, is that we're continually having those conversations, like what are the growth edges, and then what is the scaffold backwards to make sure that it's not a problem for students moving forward. Okay. Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a good night. Turning to policies, we have one policy at stage 1 this evening, 5684, use of surveillance cameras in the school district.
Yes, thank you to our Director of Security for taking a look through this, since we had not reviewed it in quite a few years. So it's really just a couple of language updates.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay to move this?
Yes.
Stage 2, thank you. Opportunity for Superintendent, Mr. Gavin.
Thank you, President Barry. As the board knows, one of our key focuses this year is not only enhancing outcomes and opportunities for students, but also developing those community partnerships. So on November 5th, Southside High School's Wood Design Club visited the North Atlantic States Carpenters Facility, the Carpenters Union in Hauppauge, During the trip, the students toured the state-of-the-art training center and gained firsthand insight into the world of carpentry and engineering. The visited highlighted exciting career opportunities in the skilled trades and showcased the cutting-edge technologies and tools that professionals use in the field today. Mr. Beinlich and Mr. Downey joined the trip as well to not only help the students explore the possibilities of carpentry and related fields, but also to explore the potential career pathways that we've been talking about and how do we expand the opportunities and outcomes that we have here in that particular area. I had a post-conference with Mr. Beinlich today, so happened, and he was beaming about this field trip. It's going to translate into some other cool opportunities that I'm not at liberty to disclose yet, but one of the things he said that the kids were he expected the students to ask 5 to 6 questions while they were touring the facility. He said they asked in excess of 60 to 70 questions because they were so interested in not only how, the specific skills that the carpenters were using, but also how do you, what does it look like to be part of a union? What does it look like to, go to college? If you go to college, does that mean you're not going to be a carpenter? Like, they were asking all sorts of normal questions that students ask. And they were super, super excited about it. Another follow-up that we have is this year, as we've talked about, we began a new course at the middle school, Intro to Fashion, which is an elective offered to our 8th grade students. The response has been overwhelming with 80 students registered for that class. I had the chance to visit the classroom today, and I could see really firsthand how highly engaged the students were in that class. They were so focused on creating their own Labubu, which for those of you, if you are not an elementary or middle school teacher, look it up. It is spelled La-Bu, B-U, which I got wrong and was corrected. But one of the things that we talked about is with the students, I asked the students, what do you like about this class? And it was very clear, we're seeing a theme here. The same thing that the students in the wood design class liked, the students in the fashion design class like. They like to create things and see them actually created. Not necessarily on the computer, but they wanted to, like two young ladies said, I like working with my hands. I like cutting it up, putting it together, and having something tangible at the end to take home. They didn't use the word tangible, but that's what I took from it. And then they asked me, speaking of what future programs we might have to consider, what do we get next year in terms of fashion? I said, would you be interested in fashion marketing? And they said, what do we get in fashion? So they were less interested in the idea of business at that point, but they really, really liked the class. And we have a phenomenal home and careers trio of teachers that really engage the kids really, really well. So that is one aspect of that class. On Superintendent's Conference Day, we sent this wonderful team of teachers from the middle school to visit FIT in New York City to get a firsthand tour of their world-class facilities and brainstorm future partnerships ideas. This trip has already led to our middle school teachers collaborating between the fashion class and the tech class, meaning our 8th grade tech and our 8th grade fashion team have already, again, this is something I'm going to ask the kids actually to come and present later on in the spring when the unit is done. I think it is very worthwhile for us to see this. I think it would be great to hear from the students' experience directly because you're going to hear not only from the fashion point of view, but also from the tech design point of view. And this came from their experience at FIT. They happened to see how students at FIT actually 3D print shoes, and this led to an entire new unit that they came back with, and in a day and a half are already writing. So it's going to be, and again, they walked downstairs, they talked to Mr. LaManna in tech, and they were off and running on a brand new unit. So these are the kind of things that when we add these new courses or when we add these new opportunities and partner with outside organizations, it reminds us of how many fresh ideas and how many talented people we have here that create great things for kids. So I am going to invite our fashion students here along with our tech and fashion teachers to kind of give us a demonstration later on in the spring once this unit is done, even though it's fresh off the presses and they're still writing it as we speak. They were palpitating when I said, you guys are going to come and present this. They're like, we haven't even written it yet. I'm like, you'll be fine. But the kids were super excited. They couldn't wait to show. So that is my opportunity for superintendent report.
Okay, thank you. We look forward to that, and we welcome them all. Opportunity for board members, Ms. Messier.
Thank you. I'd like to start by wishing all of our athletes continued success in the playoffs, or good luck as they start their playoff runs. We're looking forward to going to seeing a bunch of games and meets this weekend. I'd also like to wish good luck to our Drama Guild on the production of Puffs. I'm very happy that, we're able to host that performance here at the high school and that their process has not been too disrupted. So again, looking very forward to going to see that play. And then finally, not that they've all left, but just continue to be impressed by our students, using this forum to advocate for their wants and their needs, eloquently spoken. And it just makes me proud that we have kids in this community who know what they want, and even just listening to talking about, we're planned out through April, we know what our schedule is, being proactive, trying to problem solve. I think it's great. So kudos to our parents, to our teachers, for really teaching our kids how they can affect change for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Hackett?
We didn't have an opportunity in October, the last meeting, to say thank you, but I wanted to say thank you to the PTA for their beautiful presentation at the Board Appreciation, and for Dr. Freiling and our students. That was really a highlight. I wanted to congratulate our merit scholars that were here too. They were really impressive, and that's a hard feat to end up in the 2 to 3%. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to the girls soccer team. That was a really incredible, exciting win, and really good luck to all of our teams that are moving forward. Our track stars, with volleyball we had success and everything else. So really want to wish you good luck and congratulate you on amazing seasons. And I know how much it adds to their plates. Their students first, and their athletes and everybody else in the world on top of it. And I know it's a lot, so I just want to give them a pep talk and tell them we're really proud of them with whatever happens next. I was also really proud to be part of a team of Matt and Kelly who presented at the NISPA conference this year. They did a great job, full room, 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday in a packed place. And I know Janet, Donna, and I were there, and we were really proud to be part of this team. And they did an amazing presentation on how our board communication can be successful. And I wanted to say thank you to both of you, not just for the presentation, but for keeping us going in such a positive way that you have been doing for all the last few years together. So thank you for that. And lastly, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm grateful for my team up here, for our administrators, teachers, nurses, custodians, everybody that works in this district really hard. So happy Thanksgiving. And see, we have some teachers here, so thank you for being here too.
Thank you. Mrs. Gruner?
I'll start by just echoing what my two colleagues have said. In particular, the student voice piece. I think the more we hear from Callie, from student presenters, the dance team, the drama students were here last time, they are the ones that are living the experience, and the more we can hear about their experience, I think the better it is for us to make decisions about what's going to impact them. So I hope students keep coming to share their experience with us. I would love to find ways to elicit more of that, either through surveys or informal meetings or focus groups. However, they are the ones that can tell us what it's really like. So it would behoove us to ask them as many questions as possible. I also want to congratulate both our athletes and as well as our Tri-M inductees. I went this year to the Tri-M induction. The IB music students were so impressive. And it just struck me, a lot of those students have performed before, but they perform usually either on stage or in groups. And this was like an individual performance in front of an auditorium of people. It took a lot of courage to get up there, and if you've never been, it's a great community event to just go and experience. They're really talented. And that sort of transitions into the high school open house that we're having coming up. I think I don't know if it's because my oldest is a senior and I'm watching her go through her sort of last everything at the high school, but the classes are great, but really what's making her experience are the clubs, the teams, the outside experiences. So there's probably something for everyone here. I would really encourage people to go to the open house, see what's out there, find a way to connect with other kids that share your interests. It really is one of the most important parts of your high school experience. And then the last comment I'll just make, it's funny, it never really dawned on me until Ms. McGinn said it, that exploratory is named that because students are supposed to be exploring areas of interest. And in thinking about that and thinking about all the electives we have at the middle school, I would really love to look at ways to let kids have more chance to explore those electives. There's so many options, but not a lot of time when it comes down to it. And then as they get to high school, there's even less time for electives sometimes. So if we could just really look at our scheduling and how we can make the most of that, I think that would be a great improvement. So thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Downing?
Yep. I echo the thanks to the middle school team and to the dance team. It was great to see both teams here tonight, and to the chamber singers for that amazing performance. I'm always absolutely stupefied by how quickly they can put together a performance when it feels like school has just started. But also thank you to the PTAs for hosting us at all of your recent meetings. I loved sitting in at the Hewitt meeting yesterday, hearing about the theme of our attitude of gratitude. So I echo that. I am grateful to work with all of the folks up here, and grateful to have the opportunity to serve this community. And I was so proud at the NYSBA conference to see our board president and our superintendent offer what Mrs. Hackett has nailed it. It was the best session of the conference, really was above and beyond. And Mr. Gavin, I noted on your superintendent report, and it echoes sort of what Mrs. Gruner was just saying, these opportunities for student voice, right? The fact that you said kids love making things. I love to hear about the increase in field trips, these community partnerships, the fact that kids love to make things like Labubu's or wood design products. That's not just good exploring, it is that, but it's also really good for their mental health, right? To get off the phones, to get off tech and scrolling and really get a hands-on learning experience like that within the academic context. I think that really matters. Congratulations to all of our students who we did honor at our last meeting for their academic success. You have so much to look forward to, and it's gratifying to see, and take a chance to celebrate that success. I echo the call to come in costume to the fall play, to see Puffs with your wizard gear on for that name that cannot be mentioned because of the copyright. But I think we can all figure out who the wizard is behind that story. So good luck to everyone at playoffs. I agree, the high school open house is such a great community event. That's November 12th. Good luck to all those heading off to Ashokan soon. It is getting to be that time. And circling back to that attitude of gratitude, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service, and a happy Thanksgiving to all.
Thank you. Good luck to all of our student athletes in the playoffs. Best of luck to all involved in the play. And I would like to also thank all of our veterans in our community that have served and continue to serve. And we will honor you on this Veterans Day and always, so thank you. Opportunity for visitors. The public is reminded to address questions or remarks to the board through its president. Is requested to refrain from making any direct references to students or staff members that could be considered critical of their performance or their character. Such references to individual students or staff members are inappropriate in a public forum and should instead be conducted in private conversation with appropriate members of the staff. The public is asked to state their name and address and limit their comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Melanie Rubin. I'm a proud first grade special education co-teacher at Covert School. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to share a few highlights from each grade and program at Covert. Our kindergartners have been learning about their roles in the community and exploring how machines use pushes and pulls. They're practicing letters and sounds, building counting skills, and comparing objects through measurement. In first grade, students are mastering sounds through daily Heggerty foundations, exploring story elements in small group reading, and popping our kernel sentences through the writing revolution. and building our number sense in math. Mystery science has been a big hit, especially when we explored the moon's phases and created our own Big Dippers on our desks. Our first graders are growing as readers, writers, and kind classmates every day and are excited about our upcoming holiday toy drive. Our second graders became scientists, creating prototype bird feeders in their biodiversity unit. They've learned what democracy means and even voted on their favorite cookie, Oreo versus chocolate chip. Can I see by a show of hands who would like to add their tally for Oreos? Chocolate chips?
Hands down.
They're also showing good citizenship by collecting donations for Bethany House. Our third graders are exploring cultures around the world, Brazil, China, Kenya, and the U.S., and will celebrate their own heritage through cultural shoebox displays. Fourth grade began the year in Inquiry 1 as they investigated the essential question, how are we influenced by place and time? They studied New York geography, experimented with the Birth of Rock Science Unit, and analyzing the book Fourth Grade Rats with a focus on analyzing character progression and themes. They're also enjoying learning and performing their ballroom dances. Our fifth graders are studying European exploration, ecosystems, and food web while building strong discussion skills in their book club units. Students in our special classes have been incorporating their core word of the week graphing Halloween candy to create line plots and really enjoyed their field trip to Atlantic Nursery to connect classroom learning with the world around them. In FLES, students have been reviewing colors of otoño, or fall, and sharing their All About Me projects in Espanol. In Phys Ed, students are working on spatial awareness, communication, and teamwork. Our fourth and fifth graders in music are preparing for the winter concert on December 2nd, and we hope to see you all there. In Stellar, our students are continuing to build their coding and AI skills, becoming the Michelangelos of pixel art, an app in Kidoyo. And Covert's hackathon team, led by Mr. Figaro, is quite determined to keep the hackathon trophy at Covert. Some school-wide highlights. In October, we celebrated AAC, Augmentative and Alternative Communication Awareness Month, encouraging all forms of communication, speech, gestures, signs, and devices. It was a wonderful reminder that every voice matters. We also held our school-wide STEM Egg Drop Challenge, which was definitely all it was cracked up to be. Next up is Balloons Over Covert for Thanksgiving, which promises to be another fun and creative event with imagination taking flight all through Covert's halls. That's just a glimpse into the world of wonderful things happening at Covert School. For more photos, updates, please scan our QR code and follow us on Instagram. We thank the board and administration for your continued support of our students, staff, and programs. And let me just add, it was interesting, I knew what I was going to be saying, but listening to the middle school and things about the high school and hearing how so many of the things keep going, it's cyclical and it keeps coming back, and hearing about the writing revolution that they're doing in the middle school and we're starting it in first grade, and it's just, it's wonderful. I'm proud to be part of this district, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Covert. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. May I have a motion to approve items for action O2 to R6?
So moved.
Second? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Please note the date of our next meeting has been changed from the original calendar, so the next meeting will be Public Works. That's November 19th, which is a Wednesday. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.